had a trying morning this morning. You know, it happens a lot of times. We'll design a house, you know, and we're going to bid on a house, and every builder, you know, has to bid on a house, but you have to keep your numbers as best you can, and there's ways to cut back on it, and there's good ways and there's bad ways. I have a house right now. It's a stucco house that they designed it, and the front of the house is all elaborate with trim and stuff, but the two sides and the back of the house are not elaborate with a lot of trim, and a lot of the homeowners don't notice this. And when they're sitting there, they love it because they're concentrating on the front. They show the architect what they want in the front, and then he skimps out in the back. So we have more of a modern house to it. It's got a feel like, so there's not really elaborate moldings. There's a top and a bottom molding, and the sides are free, but it kind of fits the rest of the house. Of course, the homeowner comes, and I want to check and make sure everything's okay, and I talk to them, and they look at me, and they're like, is this it? And I'm like, yes, it's just like the plan. We didn't pay attention to that. We should have paid attention to that. I said, well, I'm doing it like the plan. The plan is our contract. The plan is what I go by, and that's what every contractor goes by. So you really have to look at your plan and make sure that the three sides are what you want. I mean, even after it's done, take a look at it, because you're going to get exactly what is shown on the plan. And if you don't get exactly what is shown on the plan, that's what you reference to. You say, well, it doesn't look like the plan, does it? And then the contractor says, well, I didn't do it like the plan. Well, why not? That's your fault. That's the contractor's fault. The contractor should eat it. So if I stick with the plan, that's my Bible, that's the homeowner's Bible, right? Everything should work out. Well, you know, sometimes it doesn't, because they're not happy with it. So now I'm trying to redesign it to make it work. Of course, it's not in my budget. But at DVAC Developers, we're going to try to do whatever we possibly can to make it work. And I'm going to try to do it. I don't want to eat a lot of the money, but I will try to make it work as best I can with my subcontractor. So that's what we're doing this morning, and it's up and down, back and forth. So I have to get her back out there to approve some samples, and, you know, it just stops the job. And it happens a decent amount of times, because the reason of being is that, you know, you try to keep moving and you think everything is good, but, you know, DVAC developers, we always check. I always try to check with the homeowner, because it's such a big stage when you start to develop certain things, especially stucco, especially trims, outsides, stone, and everything else. You know, you always want to check and make sure. So, you know, look at your plan, make sure all three sides are what you want on the outside, and everything else is rolling, because it could happen, and then the contractor could look at you and be like, well, that's what we have. If you want it, it's going to be, you know, X amount of dollars up, and there you go, another upcharge, which, you know, you don't want. So that's a little lesson for you.